high school kiddos graduating this week and next week. There are tons of college kids graduating this week and next week. And while I was at the University of Kansas watching my son walk down the hill on Sunday, before Jack made his walk, I noticed several graduates from yesteryear walking down the hill together. And I noticed that on their caps, it said 1972, which would mean they were graduates at the University of Kansas 50 years ago. So I reached out to KU today and I go, what was the deal with all of the 1972 graduates? Gosh, there were 75, 80 of them, Scott, all walked down the hill arm in arm together. I thought it gave me chills. I was like, this is cool. They were not faculty. They were walking 50 years later, and we reached out to KU, and we have tracked down a couple of the graduates.
Meade Bollard is joining us on the KMBZ hotline, the class of 72, graduating class of 22. Hello, Meade.
Hello, how are you?
Well, we're doing quite well.
What the heck was going on yesterday? I thought that was so neat, and I watched you walk right by me, Meade. Big old smile on your face.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 50 years ago, there was a tornado warning, and the signal that the ceremony would be moved inside was the steam whistle that blew, and I was so disappointed because I really wanted to walk the hill. So we did graduate, but from Allen Fieldhouse. And This year, it starts raining again. And the drive to Lawrence was horrendous in that rain. But they said, we will get you down the hill. We'll postpone this, but we will get you down the hill. And they did.
So what was it like? Because you guys were just beaming ear to ear. You were holding balloons. You all walked together. There were some of you from the class of 1970 and some of you from the class of 1972. And we'll explain that in a moment. But what was that moment like for you, Meade?
It was incredibly fulfilling. I had been so disappointed in not being able to make that walk, and I'd kind of put it out of my mind until I got an email from the Alumni Association inviting the class of 72 to walk, and I leaped on that in a heartbeat. I was so excited. There was no way I was going to miss that.
How many of your classmates were with you, do you know?
They said they had about 100 respond, but I think there were probably only 60 to 75 or so.
I love history on this program. We try to share it when we can, Meade. And one of the things that the university mentioned to me was that when you look back in 1970 and 72, which were your classes that walked yesterday, that was a period of intense unrest in the United States of America during Vietnam. I did not know that it was April 20th, 1970, that the Kansas Union burned. It was an arson. And then, of course, May 4th, 1970 was the Kent State Massacre. You would have been on campus during all of those sadly historic moments in the United States. Can you tell us just a little bit about what it was like with the unrest while you were on a college campus?
That was mostly in 1970, and it was really a period of unrest. I remember when the Union burned. I was clear over by Iowa Street, so there was no way I could get to the Union. They wouldn't have let me near it by the time I got there. Students were hauling things out of the Union so they wouldn't burn, like the huge grandfather clock and all sorts of memorabilia. It was amazing that everybody came together for that. They canceled classes. They finally canceled final exams, and I don't know how the people graduated. I heard somebody say yesterday, once they canceled classes and exams, he said, I suddenly realized I was graduated.
You're done. I did not know that after the fire, Lawrence was placed under a governor-declared state of emergency requested by city and county officials, such emergency constituting a danger to the public health and safety of such magnitude that normal and ordinary processes of state and local government are inadequate to protect the public. Do you remember being fearful? I did not know a state of emergency was declared after that.
Well, 50 years ago, I don't really recall that, but I also know that I was not afraid. We were removed from the university by a good distance. Like I say, I was clear over at 19th and Iowa, and that was a good distance away from the university. And at no time did I ever feel that I was unsafe.
Did you film yesterday's walk down the hill? You had one piece of technology you probably didn't have in 1972, and of course that's a camera on your phone.
I took several pictures on my phone. I did not take any video. I kind of wish I had, but it would have just shown a bunch of heads in front of me.
Did you know any of your classmates that showed up yesterday, 50 years on?
You know, that's a very interesting story, because on my mortarboard, I put a picture of me in my Yell Leader outfit alongside the Jayhawk mascot. Eldon Pewitt was the mascot in 1970.
That's right.
And he passed away in 2007. But his widow saw the picture on my mortarboard and came up and introduced herself to me.
Oh, my darn.
While she was doing that, another woman heard me introduce myself to her, and she said, "Oh, my God, you're Meade Bollard? I was in Oliver Hall the same year you were, and I knew you then."
Meade, I love this story, not the least of which one of the email replies that I got from the University of Kansas came from Eldon's widow, Connie.
Yeah.
Meade, we are related. It is such a small world. I grew up knowing that Eldon was the KU mascot. He was the person that would roam around in the Jayhawk before there was a baby Jay. And so
Right.
we're even related. And she emailed me back and said, "This is Connie Pewitt. I was down there walking down the hill and I saw Meade Bollard. He was right next to me."
That's fantastic.
Well, this is so neat, Meade, and I wanted you to know from the university, only the classes of 1970, 1972, and 1981 did not get to walk, all because of severe weather, even though you had the unrest going on. 1981 also did not walk.
What about
and
2020?
So they were at least, in outside COVID years,
Okay.
they were at least able to give you that yesterday, and Meade, it just makes me so happy.
Me too, believe me.
Well, congratulations, graduate.
All right, thank you.
All right, be well. That's Meade Bollard, KU class of 72, walked the hill in 22.
Isn't that cool?
That is cool. That is cool. All right, quick break. Dinner.